Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and let's not waste any time because this is super exciting. In fact, you and I have been batting around a theory we have about our next guest. Yeah.
He's going to be at the Dr. Phillips Center. You can get your tickets at drphillipscenter.org on June 30th. Two shows, one at 5 p.m., one at 8 p.m. He's moving on up because he keeps getting bigger venues, and now he's in Orlando's nicest venue.
You're at our nicest. Like, the venue that you're at is state-of-the-art. There's nothing better than that.
On Zoom with us right now is Steve-O. How's it going, Steve-O?
Well, it's going great. Thanks for having me on. And the nicest theater in Orlando is going to have the filthiest show of all time.
I did laugh a little bit.
18 plus. It's 18 plus. I've had some people reach out and say, like, hey, you want to be a mature audience viewer for this particular show. But two shows at the Dr. Phillips Center. Yeah, and you're in the Disney-sponsored wing, man. You're in the real stuff.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, it's like my live comedy career is considerably more mature than people know. I've been doing it for like 13 years now, and I just had my third comedy special come out, and each comedy special has become more multimedia. The first one was just me on stage doing stand-up and crazy stunts. The second one had video footage edited in to illustrate the stories. The third one I did all new stunts for, and now I'm putting together the fourth one, and it's called Steve-O's Gone Too Far. It's just really an exciting time for me to actually go too far, and this show in particular is an exploration of everything that was genuinely too much.
Well, we've been kind of talking about that a little bit, and I'll let you kind of take it from here, Tom. But like you have a theory about Steve and kind of his progression over time, and now he's gotten to this, this next iteration of now wanting to go too far.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, before we get to that, and speaking of going too far, Steve, I saw that, and it's all over social media, and it's like the hottest news right now.
You can't search his name. You cannot search the man's name.
And is this true that Post Malone is going to tattoo a cartoon penis on your forehead on Friday at Bonnaroo?
Man, I don't know why I blurted that out.
Because it's everywhere. And I'm like, no way.
You can't search your name. There's no other facts even about the show. It's hard to find info about the show because everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're doing it again. They're doing the tattoos again.
Yeah, that's absolutely the plan, except it might happen tomorrow instead of Friday, just because the whole Bonnaroo ecosystem is perhaps challenging to navigate. It's going to be easier just to do it the night before.
On your birthday.
And again, I really wish I hadn't blurted that out because it hasn't happened yet, and I never want to jeopardize a shoot before we get it done. It makes me nervous. Let's get it done, But with that said, it's been confirmed. The whole plan is on. Because anything can happen, so I'm super nervous until I get it done.
I like that you're nervous about not getting it done.
Because they're going to let people down.
Have other people in your life, your loved ones, tried to talk you out of the tattoo forehead?
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of put your life together. I mean, you've got all the animals. You've got the beautiful wife, fiance. You're
fitter
house,
than ever.
Fitter than ever. You're doing the triathlon again. Congratulations on that, Tom. My Tom just did that. Congrats on that, man. That's huge. So you got it all together. Why penis forehead tattoo?
What's going on here?
Did we lose you?
Did we lose you?
No, we're not losing me, but can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
You sound great. Yeah, why?
Okay, all right. Shit, I don't know. All of a sudden, my volume is doing something weird. Yeah, thank you for all those kind words, man. That's super rad. And yeah, I'm genuinely nervous about it not happening. And there's no reason necessarily I should be, but anything can happen. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. And with respect to the penis tattoo, the idea is it goes above my eyebrow on my forehead, curving in the contour of my eyebrow above it, and then as the head of the penis rests kind of next to my eye, there's drops coming out of the penis, which are teardrops, or because they're coming out of the.
Sure. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a. It's working.
So exciting. I mean, that's one of many things that it could be considered going way too far, and it's so exciting to be on this tour as the show just comes together. I've been working on it for some time, and it's people are not going to believe how absolutely ridiculous my life is about to be.
So,
I like that.
Okay, so Daniel mentioned a little bit, and we had this theory that we talked about on the show, and I think this is true because I racked my brain to think of any other human that I could think that would even be close to you, and I couldn't think of one. And let me ask you if you think this is true. So I started thinking, I was like, I think Steve-O, as a human being, has the largest collection of odd experiences in his life,
with all different levels,
with a spectrum of, like, we've all, I've watched you, Steve-O, since the beginning of your career and Clown College and everything, and then even at the lowest of the lows, and then now, and you've come out of it and you're sober, and then
sobriety,
and the podcast and
saving animals,
but you've never stopped collecting footage and doing crazy things. So it's been like a span of over 30 years of doing these crazy things, where I believe that you have collected more crazy experiences than any other human that's ever lived.
I mean, it's a subjective title to hand out. But I, in some respects, I'm sure that there's an argument for it. Yeah, and thank you.
Well,
I've been very deliberate.
Well, you're still doing it, like even the new tour. And again, I'd like to mention to our Orlando guys that also he's in Tampa. So there's shows up there if you want to grab them. Like, what goes into how do you decide that you want to push it a little bit more? Do you ever think that will ever end? Do you think that there's
man, what a great question. I think in my career, every single project that I've worked on, I've been convinced was my last. In the beginning, because I just didn't imagine that it could last. And then it got to a point where I just couldn't imagine that anything could get any crazier. Certainly my last tour that I came through Tampa and Orlando with, which was Steve-O's bucket list. I thought that I painted myself into a corner with that one. I mean, and thank God this is pre-recorded, but I ejaculated as I fell out of an airplane, butt naked, with another man strapped to my back.
Yep, I saw that there. I saw you. Yeah. Talking about that.
The things I did for my bucket list, I just thought, wow, I've painted myself into a corner. But as that tour wore on, the wheels started turning, and I came up with more. And now with the Gone Too Far tour, again, I absolutely feel that I've painted myself into a corner for sure. Honey, what is that? Oh, the hay roller. Okay, I thought we had like an even bigger cherry picker to jump off of today.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Steve, I wanted to ask you about how ranch life is, because I know you moved to Tennessee on a ranch. You moved out of California.
Yeah, man.
How's that going?
Congrats.
I'm loving it, man. I just didn't even anticipate that I was going to love it as much as I do. We're here on 44 acres in the middle of the woods. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. I love it.
So, Steve, I'm curious because I read your book back in the day when you put out your book, and you talked about just throughout your whole life, you've always liked the tension. And that's kind of like what fueled everything in your life is like, hey, look what I can do. You want attention. And then when I saw you move to a ranch, I was like, that's kind of secluded.
It's different.
But then the internet offers the ability to get the same attention.
Sure.
So to use the internet to supplement like real live eyeballs.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything changes. That's the nature of the world. And I, looking into my future, the idea is for me and my lady to, live happily ever after with a bunch of animals. I think I do like the idea of making it so that this ranch can be a bona fide business in its own right. Like, just kind of an adult playground with all kinds of revenue streams so that ostensibly I could retire from the attention whore business. I'd like to think that I don't have to be an attention whore for the rest of my life, just because that sounds like kind of a sad existence, being it. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what the future looks like. I just know that there's something deep within me that just wants to get crazier and crazier all the time. And I had this conversation with Caitlyn Jenner,
who
brought up Elton John. She said, "You remind me of Elton John. He had these outfits, and every time he had to outdo his last outfit, and it just got bigger and bigger to the point where, like, he just couldn't do it anymore, and he just gave up and started wearing a normal suit." And that was so impactful for me. Like, I think, when does my Elton John moment come?
Yeah. His stopped at Donald Duck, right? Once he got the Donald
or
Duck.
the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers, like, did you get any pushback? I mean, knowing that you're a celebrity, you're buying a huge area, we've heard in the news and we see on TMZ and all these places where they always talk about like Chappelle's moving in here and this person moved in here. When you move in, did you get any pushback or were people happy to see you?
From neighbors?
Did you get some pushback?
Big time. Before we even got the keys, everybody knew that we were coming.
Whoa.
The guy who sold us this property in Tennessee was part of a Facebook group, like for just like whatever the local area.
Sure.
And I understand that, like, the majority of that Facebook group, if not like a great portion of it, was just out to get this guy, just out to ruin his life. Like, how dare you invite this element to our town?
Right.
And by the way, it's a small town. Like, I'm not in the part of Tennessee where like fancy celebrities live.
Gotcha.
Like, there's not one person who can make any sense of what the hell I'm doing in this little town. There are 0 celebrities where I live, we just kind of like it that way. But as much pushback as there was, I think that I've been gradually making a pretty good reputation for myself.
Nice.
I put effort into every encounter, and not just in Tennessee, like everywhere I go.
Sure.
I believe really strongly in what I hear from people who have had near-death experiences, where, like, upon dying, they find themselves experiencing their whole life as the people who they had an influence on. So everybody whose feelings you hurt, everybody who you made feel good, you feel it as them, and in the most incredible detail. So I wanted to have a good life review, so I try to be good to everybody.
For sure.
Well, wait until they see that new tattoo. They're gonna love that.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
That's Tennessee fresh.
Yeah, when you're at the 7-Eleven, and they're like, "What?" So, Steve, I'm curious. Like, I remember when you and Danny Way got the stem cell injections, and you've always done like kind of biohacking and done like medical stunts where like where you got an injection into your spine and your paralysis, like all these different things.
Crazy.
Even back in the day, the IV with vodka and stuff like. So I'm curious, are you doing any other biohacking that maybe like outside the country that like experimental? Because I know you've done. There's been a lot of damage to your body over the years. Are you trying to do any experiments to fix that?
Man, what a great question, and thank you so much for knowing about all of these career moments, man. It's,
I followed you. I followed you the whole time, man.
We're fans, and no bigger fan than that guy.
Man, I'm moved and honored that you know all of those things. And what a great question, man. I recently recorded an episode of my podcast with the UFC legend Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
He had invited me to his BMF ranch in New Mexico because as I was driving across country to Tennessee with my goats, I didn't want them to be in this cargo van like the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I found properties to let them out at night in pens. And one of the properties we went to was Cowboy's Ranch. And while we were there, they were telling me he wasn't in town. He was riding bulls in Texas. But his ranch hands told me that the whole time he was in the UFC, he was pissed that he couldn't do steroids. He wanted to be doing steroids. He said, when I retire, I'm getting on steroids. That's exactly what he did. They said he's just super jacked. And I was like, man, now I'm like tomorrow's my 50th birthday, and I'm like I gotta check this out, the testosterone. So we talked to Cowboy, and he said great things about it. He put me in touch with this company called Transcend, which does all peptides and testosterone replacement. Within 24 hours of meeting Cowboy, I had a needle in my arm to take blood out and do all my blood work panel. I've been shooting up peptides every single day now for, I'm guessing, a month, maybe over a month. I'm holding up on the testosterone because I've got some pranks coming up that I just can't be extra jacked for.
Yeah. You gotta be fatter for those things. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I actually, I have to be petite for but yeah, I don't know what I feel like maybe I'm burning calories a little better. Maybe I'm a little more better definition with peptides. But it's tough for me to tell because I've been exercising my ass off, training for this triathlon, and I've been so diligent with a clean diet.
Nice. That's good.
It's tough to tell where the excellent figure is what to attribute my good looks to.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it does. We got a sponsor that does testosterone and hormones, and it seems like every rich, and every rich person and celebrity, they're all doing
the edge, every edge.
Yeah, the peptides, the testosterone, like biohacking seems to be, if you could do it. Definitely beneficial. I'm curious, Steve. One more question because I know we got to go. But the with your podcast, Wild Ride, obviously it's a great the fact that you have a mobile van that you do the podcast and you go to people it's a brilliant idea. And you've had some gigantic guests on your show. Has there been any guests you were actually nervous about interviewing?
Oh my God, for sure. I got very, very I don't even know what the word is, but like with Maynard from Tool.
Oh yeah.
Maynard James Keenan like reduced me to a blithering idiot. I was so nervous and excited to talk to him. And this is really funny because we had never seen on the podcast me be just so incapacitated with fandom.
That's crazy. Yeah,
yeah, because you've met a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so
also, Maynard's so like reserved. You know, you don't get a lot of FaceTime with him. You don't see a lot of articles or interviews.
Right. He's a personality who, in the social media age, has maintained mystery.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of those.
He still even dresses in character when he's on stage sometimes, and like, there's a real mystique there that is the rest of us have kind of given that up. You know, we're just like, oh, here's everything I do at all times. You know, like, do you ever like when you're doing those, do you have a full set of questions, or do you just try to wing it and make it a natural conversation?
It depends. These days, I prepare for everyone for the most part. I've got like a list of topics and questions, which I kind of keep hidden next to me. I don't want the guests to see that, but it helps me to be pretty extensively prepared. There have been times it worked great without being prepared. There have been times that it didn't work great when I was prepared. I mean, I don't know, but I care about it a lot. I really want it to do well, and it's been just a shockingly life-enhancing thing. You know, I'd like to just have conversations with fascinating, famous people on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
it's just cool, man. And like, I think that podcasting, it creates this super intimate relationship with the audience. You know, like they're actually in the room for like raw, unedited conversations, like for that many hours, like every week. Like, I don't think you could like pretend to be somebody you're not, you know, like
that's true.
Know who you are.
I was
for better or worse, you know, they're figuring out like exactly what you're like.
Yeah, good point.
And as such, I think you need to get this like super intimate relationship with your audience, and maybe that's why like I'm able to make it from comedy clubs into big theaters and stuff. But
for sure, yeah,
I love it, man.
I was going to say that, Steve, because it seems like we've realized that because we've been podcasting for the past, 15 years. And
I forget that sometimes.
And when your audience hears you talk for long periods of time, because for forever, I'm sure you've experienced this, people just know you for the stunts and for what they've seen on Jackass and like small clips of you doing extreme stuff.
Yeah.
And then
you add it up, he's done more podcasts than anything. Right?
And then now they get to see you have long form conversations, so they get to know the real you. They get to actually know Steve-O as a person and your thoughts beyond the crazy the stunts, and that I bet has engaged, like created a stronger engagement.
I think it galvanizes it.
Yeah,
I think it like makes it like, because these people that will come to and you're going to be at the Dr. Phillips again, get your tickets, but those people that show up are like, they're going to be with you for life, and
now they know you even more.
Yeah, it's rad, man. I'm super grateful for it. It's been I was kind of dreading the podcasting just because asking people to be a guest on your podcast, and we could do my podcast, like that's why I decided to do it in a van, so I could bring the studio to the guests to kind of take the sting out of how annoying it is to
make it easier.
It's brilliant, man. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I remember saying that to Joe Rogan, and he was like, "Oh man, like I was like, I just didn't like had so much trouble asking people to do my podcast." He goes, "Oh man, like that's not the problem." He's like, "The problem is everybody asking, can I be on your podcast?"
Right.
And that's becoming a thing too. It's like every potential guest for our podcast, my whole team gets an equal vote. You know, we're just super democratic, and that approach both helps a lot because I don't always get it right. You know, there have been guests I thought were going to do awful, and they crushed, and and the opposite. There are guests I thought were going to be amazing, and they didn't do anything. But it helps when people ask me and there's not like a fit for the podcast, that I can say, hey man, I'll put it to the team. Everybody gets a vote. It kind of takes it off of me a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a super smart idea, dude.
That is good.
Well, Steve, thanks for taking the time to talk to us again.
Man, dude, if you guys announced that I was supposed to be on the show yesterday, let me just apologize. Either way, then nobody told me a time, and it's the fact that I inadvertently stood you guys up, it bums me out. So
no worries at all, man. We're fans. We love it when you get to come to town, and next time, man, hopefully if you're blowing through, we get you in the studio or something.
I love that, man.
Or maybe we'll drive over. We'll get a van and put a little hard gear in it. But we really appreciate you. You're always a sweetheart to us, man. Congrats on all the success. Congrats on the Tampa gig, the Orlando gig, and we'll see you when you get to town.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's make sure that you guys, of course you're gonna have tickets anyway, but let's make sure you guys come. We'll get you on a special list to come backstage and say what's up.
Okay,
would love that, man. Yeah, we'll take you up on that. We normally lie to everybody and say we'll do that, but this one we're not lying. 100%. This one we're not lying. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
I love it, man. I love it. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in Orlando. We'll see you in Tampa, and everybody get your tickets at stevo.com. Like you're not gonna believe how crazy things are getting, and you're going to want to be at this show.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it, man. Well, have a great rest of your day, and thanks again, man. Take care.
Oh, yeah, man. Take care, guys.
Cheers. That is Steve-O live from his ranch. He's in the ranch.
It's so good to see how good he's doing. We
got to see his, I didn't want to say it during, we got to see his fiancée in the back.
Oh, I didn't see
his wife. Yeah, she was cleaning up in the back. We got to see his animals walking by. Saw a pig in the background. 2 dogs came by, a cat. That was neat. I didn't want to point it out, though. I didn't even want to say it was my birthday. I was like, wish me happy birthday, please. You know what I mean? I had a lot of things, dumb things I wanted to say. Hey, that's your wife. The chat room's like, she's beautiful. Of course, he's rich and famous. What do you think?
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
All right. Perfect. We did it.
Now, the History Center segment is going to be a little bit long mixed with this, but because I think it's 21.
As long as we're close to 46, Casey can handle it.
Yeah. I
think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we're okay. He will fix it, though. If it's not, he'll just shimmy dog off the side. Is that okay with you, though? I mean, it's the only thing. We don't really, nothing else we can do.
Yeah.
21. No, it's close. It's real close.
Yeah.
It's like it's like about a minute, so I'm sure Casey can handle it. But I'll let him know.
Cool.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day, y'all. I'm gonna send this, and then I'm gonna go have a birthday. Bye.
Cool. See